I arrived to crime and hope that you are feeling less coldy. Hey, Captain. Not quite. But this is a very big case. And I want to try to make sure we don't get stuck on it too long. And I think I'll be good for one stream. It's kind of funny with the way this case is and how long it goes. It's going to end just a couple days before when my birthday would be. Which doesn't mean anything, you know, just a coincidence, but February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Oh man, why did I do this to myself? Okay, Lana. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. But don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I am ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe in the client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. And never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. No shit, Phoenix. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. But yeah, as we know, she said, hey, you know, if you're defending someone, they're accused of a crime, so why should you believe them? Meanwhile, Mia's whole thing was, hey, as a defense attorney, that is our one job above all, really. Like, it isn't really, but in the shonen sense that the logic of this game runs on it is. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Yeah, he doesn't have a Fae, but, you know, he still has Emma there, but she doesn't count. February 23rd, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. the cough-up queen. Oh, sorry about that. There'll probably be a few more muting moments than usual just because if I have to sneeze or something. Which I don't need to do that often, but it might happen. Just because my nose is itching right now, so I thought I'd bring it up. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar. Well, I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir, did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? Well, this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. The heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name. Profession. Now. Me, the name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well. Witness, please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? Aha! I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up, Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. So now we know why she has the whole cough up queen thing going on, which obviously is also they toyed around with like, oh, it sounds like vomit or whatever. I don't know exactly how it works in the original Japanese. The cough up part actually works better for her being an investigator than it does with the idea that she might serve lunches that make you sick. So, you know, that was probably the trade-off they made when they were localizing. The parking lot of the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutors' spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block. In the car's trunk, the killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot. Who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans added to the court record. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? So we see all this over here, telephone, all that. all this over here. We can't actually examine this further, which, you know, it works out. Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. That seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush your little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, mister. Wait, are they talking about me? Also, this feels very... Witness's account. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish cur. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. Oof. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. The one with donuts on her hat does not get to call anything garish. Nothing like it's PW edit again. You know, for a second there, I'm like, wait, she doesn't have donuts on her hat. And I'm like, oh, right, no. Those are definitely jelly donuts. Okay. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Mister, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well. May continue, mister. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend, he's a detective? Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note to self. The judge had to think before replying. I love this image of Emma here with the like little smirk thing as she's writing it down with the glasses on. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block.
So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime.
I see signs Maya is studying the judge. She's doing the best she can. Hey, Darth. When I sense something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. You sense something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Hey, she's stealing my skin back, how rude. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. But I must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, you are not sharp as a tack, Judge.
Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match.
In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Judge, you're cottage cheese at best. Damn! Hey, Dill, but also, not only is that a sick bird, but also very accurate. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish cur. By garish cur, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. She's telling the truth. We're doomed.
Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. Isn't that chief prosecutor currently either in prison or hanging from the gallows? Well, she's currently right now our defendant, so she'd be in the defendant's stand. That was inspiring.
I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism?
Oh, Von Karma. Von Karma was weirdly not chief prosecutor. He was just a legendary prosecutor. Judge, the witness is threatening to kill one of the attorneys. Well, the judge is really easy going with all that. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. That is unfortunate for my defendant. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap. I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Like, could you see Von Karma doing administrative paperwork? It is true. He definitely felt like he would always delegate stuff like that. He was like a prima donna star prosecutor who wasn't a boss for some reason. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Crime photo added to the court record. The moment of the crime as photographed by Angel Star. Uh-oh. That is unmistakably Lana Skye. I just assume Von Karma makes paralegals do everything mundane, like every other high-powered attorney. Very likely. Alright. Let's look at this photograph. Oh, we can't actually examine it closer. Okay, well, that's A. She's wearing a bloody jacket. She's got some gloves on. Look at this photograph. It's hard not to have that come up, like... Nickelback definitely left a long-lasting cultural impact with that song. Just for that line. Oh, sorry about that. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. That's... Well, let's keep going, I guess. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Is it 4 inches long? Sorry. It's too easy. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Wow, Phoenix, that was a good return shot. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So, the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it.
You said that before. Anything else?
Scientifically speaking, Mr.'s testimony is flawless.
Sounds pretty fatal to me.
What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty?
Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, Having a pancake next to me makes me calmer.
Don't smile like that.
Well, she said that she was holding a knife in her right hand, and she was going to put the knife into Goodman's chest. But she also told us that she just took a photo of the moment of the crime. So, excuse me? Like, I assume it's going to get more complex. Also, first objection of case 5. I wonder if this means over the course of the 6 mainline Ace Attorney games, there's actually over 1,000 objections if you count all the ones you can get. That object has ions. Although, admittedly, there's at least a, I have one objection here that I got penalized for. So I feel like there's at least an uncertainty of one objection so far. So really, I should put objections 131 plus or minus 1. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that was a fine lunch. Judge, do you not eat enough? But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. I'm not gonna laugh. This is the photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Edgeworth, you son of a bitch, don't do this to me. You can't. You need to do the voice line. Objection. 0.5 no objection. Like, look at the. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Schrodinger's objection. Yeah, really. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. Is that another one too? Since PW said it too. Well, the difference is there's even a period after it and not a proper exclamation point. I think Dill has the winning argument for this. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? It's weird because in that case, he did do red text, but also it like had the same role as one, but this photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. See, like that, Edgeworth. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? Mouse Phoenix literally kept you from swinging from the gallows. Yeah, but this is his job. You all people know his mind isn't feeble. Now, I don't know why they think that's blood when it could clearly have been ketchup or red paint. See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you.
Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse?
Just saying, calling the man that saved your life feeble-minded is a little uncalled for. It's been a couple months. Edgeworth has long since run through his, well of gratitude. If it were blood, it wouldn't be black, it'd be pink. You got a better idea? Objection. No problem. See, now that had an exclamation point, but no objection happened. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Man, the fourth case, we had Von Karma like pumping up the objection counter, but Phoenix is doing it this time. Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to our testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? Ah, there we go. Thank you, Edgeworth. That's how you do it. The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Repressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, mister. This is bad. She got them thinking this was all planned. She can prove this claim. The trial's already over. Gotta think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it.
You said that before. Anything else?
Scientifically speaking,
Okay, it's the same as you said. Man. I hope she doesn't have much in the way of, because they really make you work for it here. Okay. The murder was planned, the rubber gloves prove it. Okay. What do we have that would disprove that? Crime photo. Doesn't look like it. No, that wouldn't be the case. Phone doesn't. Goodman's note. One knife wound. His victim's blood, no prints. Did we already look at this?
This must be the victim's blood, right?
Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. Wow. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway?
Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing it in the wild.
Edgeworth? In the wild?
I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman.
No, there's a scary thought. Oh, okay. I'm actually kind of surprised. Usually it's a 1-2 step thing. This one actually kind of requires 2 steps here. Okay, let's add to the objection counter. Also, I'm glad, because if it was anything else, I have no idea what logic was using here. Witness, do you know what this is?
Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know.
Yeah, like, my goodness.
That's a knife. The knife.
It's especially one of those things where if she brought gloves, do not leave that, so that's not a knife. This is a knife. This is a knife.
The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife.
What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, red cur, all belonging to the prosecutor there. The father is the chief prosecutor for the district, right?
Mammy, I persecuted bad people.
The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony.
What's that, rookie?
In your testimony, you say that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she also not prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon? Ah, that's a good time for Phoenix's smug face. I mean, Von Carr was sure as shit a bad person. Oh, there are plenty of bad prosecutors. But...
Oh.
this knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon.
Ah, whoa.
Order, order, order.
Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free.
Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again.
Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Okay. Man, she might make us work for each one. Alright. Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Okay, well, this one's easy.
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it?
So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
Shut up, little girl. Just because you have a good point.
Like, God, Emma immediately had a clap back on the judge there. Oh, man.
But in any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. You've said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she is about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt the storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Prosecutor, tell us only what you saw when this proceeds to not do that at all. Yeah, something's half-baked here, all right, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Miss Skye called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Oh, sick burn.
Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts?
There is no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's phone. Man, okay, I see what he's going for there. The punctuation threw me off. There is no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office, where he was murdered.
I'm sure you had a reason to be there. Witness, why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day?
I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because you didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See, we agree there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree?
What simile is this? Oh, I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty.
This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Also, I accidentally, when I was turning around, I hit the left stick. No, everyone knows life is like a box of chocolates. It could be chocolate-covered pretzels. Split the difference. Miss Star has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off.
The short wick burns out the fastest is a scientific fact.
I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer.
Obviously, more scientific testing is required.
A human machine? That's a contradiction. God damn it, Phoenix. Like, look, I know we don't need to do any pressing for this one. Like, she had something wrong right away. We have the autopsy report. But, he's really reaching here. Please, can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright?
Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's sigh smells like citrus fruit.
I'm sorry? I need to put the objection count down, but I have so many questions. Like, one, does his sigh smell different from the rest of how he's... Okay, what kind of citrus? That's a valid question too. Besides my as weird yo. Why is Emma checking for that? How is she smelling that? Oh my, let's move on. Indeed, Phoenix. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me?
Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that.
Leave it at that? This is a murder case, people.
Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. You should definitely get Edgeworth to sigh again so I can smell that delightful citrus smell.
God, that was so weird. The autopsy report says 1 knife wound, so... What the heck was she stabbing into it again and again and again? Anytime Edgeworth is off screen, he's shoving his face full of limes. I mean, I guess it's because Edgeworth's kind of sour, right? That's what they're getting at with that. That's the only thing I can think of for the random sigh smells like citrus line. You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you with my moss surprise. Why is that a lunchbox? I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, mister.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. It's in a book. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood. from one stab wound.
Papa, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk. He's my hero, really.
What the... Emma! What the hell? What about my objection? No one noticed?
One witness?
You got a crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. And does Normal Maya come back? Normal Maya doesn't come back until the second game. Depending on how you want to specify it, she doesn't come back until the second or third case. It depends on, do you mean is Maya around as just a character, or do you mean is Maya there as an assistant? Because Maya kind of has a habit in the first two Phoenix Wright games of being accused of murder in the second case.
But tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Oh, okay. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. In Japanese, you would say muffler. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck, so she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood?
Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
That's because you have the reasoning of a literal baby. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Star isn't entirely sure of her own testimony.
Mr. Wright, this is our chance.
Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Star has turned out to be... yeah, okay. Not sure what's worse, Stalker Signs Maya or possible murderer Normal Maya. Okay. You know, it's funny too. I didn't even realize she was missing the scarf in this picture when they showed it the first time. Wow. Mister, I demand the witness is clearly not suited for detective work. Okay. 138. 139. Edgeworth, please don't do that again. That is confusing. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. Need a third-degree burn count this case. Yeah, there is... People are vicious in this one. Especially Edgeworth. Edgeworth, I'll think about it. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh. But that can't be. Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Damn, Edgeworth. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life.
Harsh words, but good.
God damn.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
Hey, don't insult lunch ladies like this. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there. A scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really? Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What?
Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
The most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. Also, was that not Phoenix thinking that, and yet Emma responded to it? I guess he mutters to himself. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile.
You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. She's Borg. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten.
No thanks.
Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Sorry.
Very well, Mr. Wright. For cross-examination, if you will.
Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. So where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details? Leave her alone? Press her. Press her. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The lunchline cur was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here?
That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes.
Is that correct, mister? Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain link fence in front of you?
I went over it, of course.
Amazing. The cough up queen, Lunch Lady Atherton did.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gone to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Sky not get away?
Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word?
So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean ask further, leave it be. Ooh, no, let's ask further. By phone, do you mean this cell phone, discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't see, mister.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall?
That's right, near the car. There was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. Flailing upturned from a trunk. Feels like what her testimony's been like.
And so she used her cell phone?
Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day.
Good witnessing, witness.
Good witnessing. Whatever happened to good testifying?
You should, of course, add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Lana's cell phone update in the court record. The word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall but had to use her cell instead. Logically, this makes no goddamn sense. Why would you try to use a different phone, fail, and then use your cell phone? Like, I don't think I have anything to demonstrate how dumb that is as an idea, but paying by the minute, I guess. You know, that's fair. If you manage to get away with the murder, you don't want to get hit by a extra high cell phone bill. I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall but had to use her cell instead. It was more common at the time. This is true. This is way back, because like we see these phones. They're not like bag phone level cell phone technology or even the giant ones, but they're still like the older ones. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
Madwa, I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket.
And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence.
Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this?
What is it, Mr. Wright?
The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel's stir, resistance is futile. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? I will say it helps too, for this case. That, I mean, I'd be at 100% health right now, but also none of the voices I'm doing are very strenuous too, so. Like, if this was case 4 with Von Karma, no. She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pate of foie gras. French. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum?
There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange.
What's that?
If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way?
The other? Ah, the parking lot entrance.
That's right. Doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries.
I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run.
I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright.
Not as sorry as I am.
But she didn't do it. You have to believe me.
Okay. I had to use her cell instead. Oh, okay. So this is probably the photo, right? Or not even the photo, it's probably the parking lot floor plans. Roll of persuasion check signs, Maya. Sorry, I don't know why I was kind of. Okay. Mister, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. Oh my god, it's been 10 objections, and we're still on. Okay. I guess more importantly, it's the fact that we're, what, an hour in? Also, thank you, Edgeworth, for another objection. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, mister, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Objection. I object to the objection. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed a crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. Lady, you need to stop dating people. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Listen, I'm getting onto it. Like, here, you can hear the music on my side. It's getting excited. Wow.
Order! Order! What is the meaning of this?
It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw it, the order of events. She said she took that there. Order of events. Well, she has that picture, but... I don't think she's lying about what she saw, though. Like, she has her bias to it. Oh, this actually penalizes us, too. But this is after the crime was committed, though, right? But... the angle's not working out either. Whatever, we have plenty of life, so... Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Okay. Man, I'm not following the logic at all to this case. That's not good.
Pointless to lie, I see.
That makes sense, though. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Oh. I was updating my objection counter and then that happened. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Phoenix, that was such a bad objection.
Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star witnessed this crime was here. Because we've already established we don't think it was here, because she saw through here, which means it can only be this section. And she talked about taking a lunch to her boyfriend in the security room. This is the only place where she could have been.
The security guard room?
Indeed, The security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone.
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, mister? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Stir.
Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. That is not a very legal stance for anyone to take. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky?
Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make sense.
Huh?
She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh my god, so many objections already. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. Is this the first time that perjury has come up?
So that's what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Whoa.
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know.
Miss Star witnessed the crime from the security guard station, but she lied and said she saw it from B block. Must make a vital difference. But what? What would change? Angle of view to the crime, distance to the crime, difference in lighting. I mean, it's the angle of view to the crime, right? Because distance-wise, I think it's about the same, right? Well, actually... Well, no. No. Sorry, I'm being dumb here. Because the thing is... Like, I'm thinking direct distance, right? But if you're in B lot, you just have to climb over that fence. But in the security room, you need to go around. Although, admittedly, I do think... Wait a second. Do I have a picture of the actual... I think I know why. Yeah, because if we look at how high that wall is, I think the idea is, because they mentioned the security station overseas, it theoretically can see over that wall. Yeah, that's the other weird thing, right? She was in the security room, but that picture's on the other side of the fence. There's so many things that are weird here. Which means, not only... Because if we look at this, she was in the security... I wish that I could have a mouse here or something. But, like, we have where the security room is. There's that door there, but that's on the second floor. She'd have to go around and come down, right? But also, she got a picture from the B parking lot. I think it's asking for distance of the crime here. I feel like this case is actually doing something that most of the other ones, at least the first game, weren't doing, where, like, there's a decent second option, but I might be just overthinking it, too. I have a real susceptibility to that. That's what always gets me in these games. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Oh. So that was 146 to 147. Oh, that actually surprised Edgeworth. Mister, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime, where you arrested Miss Skye?
Well, witness?
You... yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Also, what? Ew. The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
God damn it, Judge. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh, okay. Oh, that's weird. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block.
That's quite a detour.
Well, now we know why it's through the fence, but that's... It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes?
5 years? Sorry, sometimes Final Fantasy 16 sticks with you.
This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
God damn it, Judge. Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something.
Do I have any evidence to stop this? Raise an objection, sit back and observe. I mean, stop bribing the law. She really is, too. I'm trying to think, was there anything? Yeah, raise an objection. Oh, hell yeah, that was actually full objection, too. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. Phoenix, what the... I get it. She's been doing all the food puns and the lunchbox things. But come on, Phoenix. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Sky dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yarg.
Oh, thank God. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant. Madam blanket her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history.
We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright.
That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough of Queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Oh, god damn it. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the ones you tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, mister.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! A triple decker!
God damn it, Judge.
Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony.
Fire this man. He's usually not this bad. Apparently, he was very hungry today.
Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Well, I guess I say, at least this is more comedic than when he was rolling over for Von Kerma last case. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time?
Decisive evidence.
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe.
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. My goodness. 149. Edgeworth had a very valid objection of that one. And You had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention I have 3 boyfriends in forensics? In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Also, Emma, you wouldn't be an investigator. You should know this. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Also, we've literally introduced evidence in past trials that we have not actually shown to anyone before. But I believe this is an ongoing thing for this case. So it's just gonna have to kind of stand on its own, which is not weird. It's like how in Apollo Justice, the 4th Ace Attorney game, they actually have a jury system. But that's only like relevant in like the final case, just because they're messing around with things. They also, in the Great Ace Attorney, ye old Ace Attorney games, they have their own thing going on, but yeah.
Oh. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen.
Could at least study some evidence law, really.
You don't understand, Emma. Mia's books of law scare me. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim shoe added to the court record. White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. First, I'm going to look at the shoe. Do. So I think this is what we need to find right now, but first, let's look at this first.
This blood, it's my sister's, right?
It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime.
Poor sis.
Is there anything else going on in here? There's the darkness inside the shoe.
Ah, there's blood here too.
On the sole of the shoe? It's got to be the victim's. He must have stepped in a pool of his own blood.
All this blood. It's horrible.
Bloody shoe in 3D. This blood might be an important clue. Is it? It didn't update anything for me, but hopefully it's fine. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it.
But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, mister. Let's just get this over with.
And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with the shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. The shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really.
In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now, tell us what you did next.
2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. Oh, man. So, you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective.
The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Lady, at this point, I would be surprised if that blood was really ketchup and hot sauce. It does seem awfully convenient, doesn't it? Huh. Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all of the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skye's.
So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe.
That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. Science Maya, you're supposed to help Phoenix, not make him look dumb. Science Maya just does what science tells her. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. This is why we don't have adequate things. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. Isn't enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? There's no problem. There's a problem. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? What's the problem with this evidence?
I mean, it's gotta be this, right? Oh, okay, it doesn't actually show you anything here. Okay. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, Rocky. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe.
It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of this shoe? Attorney's badge? No. SID. No prints. Parking lot. This blue badger panel, which is not relevant, but so make the witness stop threatening people. That can't be legal. Yeah, really. There's also one knife wound that was an hour and a half. Okay. Memo. Crime photo. Is it the crime photo? Because there's no blood on the ground? Right? It's gotta be the crime photo, right? The problem lies in the footprint. Oh, okay. It's because... Oh, that makes sense, too. The shoe color. Well, this is meant to be the detective's shoe, I think. Unless it is meant to be her shoe. The footprint. Note that the bottom of the victim's... Okay, yeah, it is Goodman's. Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? It's weird that... Yeah. Yeah. I think part of this, too, is with this case. Because this case is so long, too. There's a lot of things that have to develop as we go. Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. 150 to 151. I appreciate that actually most of the objections here are... I mean, there's a few that are kind of bullshit. But there's a nice, like, back and forth going on here.
Order! 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 Well, witness?
What? Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh.
That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think.
Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions.
What? I see. Now I get it.
Get what?
Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the subject. the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness. Well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
That would not wash away bloody footprints. Like, it would definitely lighten them some. But, like, if you have the weight of a person pressing it into that, and then you just slop water over it, they would be faint, don't get me wrong, but they would definitely still be there. But regardless, that's what's happening here. Water? What does that mean?
I still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Aha! You don't mean...
Yes. The suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Damn.
Well, that tidies things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me. Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe?
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor.
Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water.
Miss Court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky.
Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you were. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
But wait. Witness, don't tell me you have something else.
The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen.
Oh my god, okay. Also, if you recall, when we did this was like trial part 1 or something, because each day on this case is divided into 2. This is a big case.
Look at this.
photograph?
I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo.
Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia.
Right. Wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end.
This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Ah, heck yeah. Go, Phoenix. Does he know what he's doing? No. Is that going to stop him? Also no. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever is it, can it wait so I can declare your defendant guilty?
No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. It will make us laugh. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration.
People only did things because they knew what they were doing. Nothing would ever get done.
This is true. So, right. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence?
Yeah. I'll think later.
Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph.
Oh. This is foot there. I see this here. I don't know if this is relevant right now. Because we heard about the muffler and there's something subbed in the tailpipe. There's the knife stabbed in him. He's there. There's the shoe. I don't think the shoe is anything. I'm gonna just, because this is weird. The problem with this photograph is here. Oh, what's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor?
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph.
Holy shit, Judge, are you kidding me? Do you not have a vehicle? A muffler is also a part of a car motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe.
I see. I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, 154. My goodness, 24 objections just on this one. I think we are clearing 200 just off the first game with this fifth case. Sorry, mister, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What?
Let's see what Mr. Wright has on his mind. How's why you think this piece of cloth is in the muffler is related to this case?
The word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. Like,
This is why this is updated.
Mister, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh. All them yelling things is just too much to actually try to do.
Well, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew. That was close. But we made it, at least for now.
This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry?